Hello, my friends. I'm Sheila Pearl, the Love Doctor. Let's talk about what you're in love with. Are you in love with your life? Really? Or are you holding back? Does fear stop you? Are you living what you call fully? Or are you living small? One of our great spiritual teachers, Eckhart Tolle, has this wonderful line, which I think about a lot. He says, "Die before you die." Now, that may sound scary, it might sound weird, but if you think about what the snake does to renew itself as it's growing. It sheds its outer skin so that it can grow a new one as it develops throughout its life. And part of what Eckhart Tolle talks about is when you choose to die before you die, you choose to shed your old skin. You choose to shed your old beliefs and thoughts that are no longer serving you. You shed the notion that you're supposed to stay the same. You shed the notion that change is scary. Change is actually inevitable. So when you think about dying before you die, you're thinking about what life is really about. Did you know that most people are not really afraid of death? They're afraid of dying before they have a chance to live. I remember years ago when I was in my mid-40s and was given a diagnosis of uterine cancer, and I was told that it might have progressed into the lymphatic system. So I was given the worst case scenario. So I was facing death. And I shouted to the moon. I shouted to the universe. I shouted to God, "No, not yet. I'm not done yet." It's not so much that I was afraid of dying, but at the age of 45, I knew I had a lot of life in me, and I wasn't ready to give up on myself and my life. So I had this feeling, this sense of destiny that I had more life in me and more tread on my tire. No, my fear was not death. My fear was not living fully up until that point. I think what is important for you and me is to live every single day as if it's our last. That's not to be gloom and doom. It's not to be sad and to be negative in any way. No. It's to treat every single moment of every single day as if it's a gift, and I don't want to squander it. I don't know when my next day is going to be my last day. Neither do you. I don't know about you, but I am privy to a lot of tragedy that's been going on the past few weeks. As a clergy person for decades, I was always privy to tragedies going on every day. But this is different. We're in the midst of uncertainty squared. We're in the midst of a pandemic in which we don't know. And we don't know, but we certainly don't know how bad and how insidious this coronavirus is. But we do know that had it not been for staying at home, distancing ourselves the past 6 or 7 weeks, we know that the spread of the virus just in New York City, just in New York State, and the tri-state area probably would have been triple what it's been, and it's been horrendous. We know that we've lost almost 70,000 Americans in the past 6 weeks. That's more than the Americans that died in the entire Vietnam War. This is nothing to take lightly. And so it's reminding me and you that we don't know where that virus is going to strike next. I'm not saying this to put fear in your hearts. I'm saying this to put urgency in your hearts. Urgency to live fully, not knowing what's going to be. Saturday, in the midst of my day, I saw a text message from a friend of mine informing me that a mutual friend had died early that morning from complications from the COVID. This is a man who's 62 years young, vital, vigorous, healthy in every way, and had finally met the love of his life and was looking forward to his retirement years with his beloved. Had one precious daughter, and the sun would rise and fall within her and for him. They adored each other, and they were each other's best friend in the best sense of the word. One moment he was here, and the next moment he was gone. I'm so grateful for him that he found love in his life beyond whatever he had imagined. I'm sad that he will not have more years to enjoy the fruits of that beautiful love. Die before you die. Shed the old skin. Shed the old ideas that get in the way of you living fully. Don't wait to write that book if you've always wanted to write a book. Don't wait to paint that painting you've always wanted to paint, or a series of paintings that you've always wanted. Don't wait to learn to play the piano until later. Don't wait to do something that you've always wanted to do, or experience whatever you've wanted to experience, because you're either afraid or you're going to put it off. Don't put it off. Don't put it off. Live it now. Die before you die. Let go of the idea that it can wait until tomorrow. No, live it now. Live it fully. This is not about being negative. This is not fear-based. This is not scarcity-based. This is recognizing that we have within our grasp every single moment the capacity to live fully right now, right here, to be open-hearted, to be willing to be vulnerable, to be willing to do the things that scare us. So don't wait. Do it now. This coronavirus mess and crisis in the world is simply magnifying the reality of uncertainty for all of us. It's not about being in a state of fear. It's about having a sense of urgency, about experiencing joy and fullness and creativity, of tasting every moment. Have that bottle of wine. Make that pie. Take that walk. Smell that flower. Call that friend. Call that family member. Do it now. Don't put it off. Die before you die. Shed your old skin. Shed your old habits. Stop putting it off. Notice what gets in the way of you wanting to do something that you're not doing. Notice what gets in the way of your giving yourself the experience of living in joy and fulfillment, of having loving relationships, of living your bliss. You know, Joseph Campbell talks about follow your bliss. You know what that's about? A lot of people misunderstand that. Bliss is not being on a high from some drug. Bliss is not being in the middle of fabulous, great sex, although it's wonderful. But that's not what the bliss is that Joseph Campbell's talking about. And that's not what I'm talking about in terms of finding your bliss. All of that's great. But follow your bliss is to be willing to look deep within yourself and ask yourself, what is it that if I didn't experience this, I wouldn't feel alive? What is life all about? It's about being alive, feeling alive, experiencing your aliveness, experiencing joy. One of my teachers, Neil Donald Walsh, said, so what is life about? It's about joy, enjoyment, to to be in a state of joy. It's not about a happy dance, although you can do a happy dance when you're in a state of joy. Being in a state of enjoyment is a form of serenity. It's a calm. It's not a frenzy. Being in your bliss is being in the flow, being in the groove, being in the zone of who you are, experiencing yourself in that moment of coming together with your essential self and all aspects of yourself and choosing to be fully present to yourself and who you're here to be. What is that without which you couldn't feel fully alive? Ask that question every day. It may change. There was a time that I felt that if I couldn't sing, I didn't want to be alive. I am blessed beyond measure that I could sing, I could get paid to sing, I could be a singing professional during the majority of my adult life. I lived that dream. I was in that state of enjoyment. I have had that experience. I don't have to sing every day now to feel complete. It's almost as if I rode that wave. I had that experience. And now at this stage of my life, I can't imagine living my life without being of service to others, being in intimate conversation with others about their lives, about where they want to be, about what they want to experience, so I can be a change agent, perhaps a motivator, perhaps an inspiration, perhaps a guide, a teacher, assisting others in finding their bliss. I can't imagine not being here, me, being of service. That's what makes me feel alive. I have a friend who must garden when it's gardening season. She must have her hands in the earth. She must be engaged in planting the seeds and watching the little plant. She would not feel fully alive were it not for that experience. So what is it for you? What is it without which you would not feel alive? What is it you must experience in order to feel fully alive? One of my friends has been a musician all of his life. He wouldn't feel alive unless he's playing music, making music in one way or another. He must in order to feel fully alive. It's not an option. What is it that you must do? You must be engaged with, you must experience in order to feel fully alive. Die before you die. Shed the old skin. Allow yourself to be you. If you don't know what that is yet, keep following what your heart and your body is guiding you to. Your body knows everything. Continue to ask the question, where do I want to put my energy? Where do I want to put my focus? At which juncture, at what element, at what experience do I feel more fully alive? Follow that path. And when you get there, just like with my singing, that wasn't where I needed to stay forever, but it's where I needed to be for a very long time. So what is your bliss? I leave you with that question. If you want to talk further, give me a call. With love, with blessings. Until next time, bye for now.